Right now, Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We've got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call, powered by FanDuel Sportsbook.
All right, Ken, thanks very much. Good evening, everyone. And we may need a heavy dose of this tonight. The taps are ready to go, and a lot of people may have to go in that direction after what we saw yesterday. The Steelers with a 48-37 loss in a wild-card home playoff game. And how about this distinction? They have scored over 28 points or more in 3 home wild-card games. And they're the only team to lose all 3 of those games after scoring that many points. And they did it yesterday in dramatic fashion. Right off the bat, it was 28-0 after one quarter. Couldn't believe how it went. Bob Pompeani here along with Chris Mueller up at 93.7 The Fan. And we want your calls, of course, at 412-575-2600. Chris, a lot to talk about here tonight, but first I'll start with what I thought was the worst game in the Mike Tomlin era, period. I know there have been some doozies out there as well, but given what Cleveland was going through, this to me was just totally unacceptable, and I couldn't have imagined it playing out this way.
I'll go with the Tebow loss being more embarrassing on its merits, right? Because Tebow is just such an obvious fraud as an NFL quarterback. But if you want to talk about the worst loss, then you're getting into the symbolism sort of territory. And symbolically, this is as bad as it gets. It feels like the end of an era for the Steelers, the end of them being contenders with Roethlisberger as their quarterback. And it feels like the beginning of the rise of the Browns, the Ravens, and if Joe Burrow comes back healthy, maybe even the Bengals. Right now, the Steelers suddenly are the team with a lot of questions at quarterback, maybe questions at head coach. It was humiliating. I mean, you could talk about almost any one area of the team you wanted to harp on, whatever it might be. The fact of the matter is, fumble, 2 picks, 2 punts, 28-0. When they got 7 points, they couldn't stop the Browns coming right back down the field on them. The decision-making was horrible. The execution. What would you say about the execution of the offense? I'm for it. I think that was the famous
John
line.
McKay.
It was just horrible in every way, and it was surreal to watch. And I think the fact that it's the team that has played little brother to their big brother role for so long makes it all the worse, right? If this happens against the Colts or the Bills or even the Ravens, you think it's bad, but the Browns being the team to do it, with all the adversity they faced this week, Pomp, it drives home the point symbolically for me that this was the end in a lot of ways for this version of the Steelers.
I can't get over how they started again and then keep harping about this week after week, but just this first quarter, who do you put on blame for that? I mean, it is a preparation point of view. Obviously, when you come out, the first quarter normally is a result of your preparation. It's scripting plays. It's a lot of things. Who is most responsible for that?
Can I make it a 3-way tie? I know it's a cop-out, but Mike Tomlin, when you have a team just come out flat and terrible, I think it reflects most on the head coach, because they came out flat on both sides of the ball, don't get me wrong. The offense was an atrocity. It reflects poorly, though, on the offensive part of it, on Roethlisberger and on Randy Fichtner. I mean, I presume they're in there coming up with stuff they want to run for that script of plays. Randy Fichtner saying, hey, this is what I like. Roethlisberger, is saying yes or no. And it just looks like a complete debacle. And one of the things about this game that people have said in the aftermath is, well, Roethlisberger proved in the second half that he can really get it going. They should just let him do all the things that he wants to do out there. The Browns were giving him everything he wanted as long as it wasn't a big play. I mean, this offense was never really good in any kind of normal situation in this game. But as far as who's the blame for the bad starts, I think it's those 3. I think it's the head coach. According to Jerry Dulac, he called all the defensive plays. That's even worse. I think it's the quarterback, and I think it's the offensive coordinator.
Yeah, I think there is plenty of blame to go around, and I'm sure we're going to hear from people coming up. We'll also talk about what lies ahead, and it's going to be a crazy offseason filled with change. How deep should that change go? We want to hear from you at 412-575-2600. Just getting started. This is the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call, 7 nights a week, right here live on Pittsburgh's CW.